another day of flood relief efforts in eastern Saskatchewan. How communities are coping. Healthcare in northern Saskatchewan gets a boost. The training program being offered for frontline staff. And a look back at the discussions when what is now SaskTel Centre was in the works.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin again tonight in East Central Saskatchewan, where more than a dozen communities are under a local state of emergency, including the town of Kenora. As Mick Favel shows us, residents are still cleaning up days after the storm hit.
A pump at the Bushel household in Kenora has been going non-stop, emptying water and sewage that backed up during a storm early Monday morning.
We were trying to move stuff out of our basement. Basically, we pretty much lost our whole house, hence our camper on our front lawn. And we have no running water to use. We can't flush a toilet.
The Bushel family are not the only ones in recovery mode. Residents who are cleaning out destroyed belongings are bringing them here after the Bushels opened up their lot to help others.
It doesn't matter who got hit the hardest. We're all feeling it. People are pulling stuff out of their basements left, right, and center. But the more it sits, the more it rises in your house. The humidity, molds kick in, bacterias.
Through a post on social media, the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says 14 communities have submitted declarations of local emergency. The SPSA is in contact with these areas and are supplying pumps, hoses, and sandbags. According to Environment Canada, the severe storm that hit the Kenora area originated from the United States, and our rainy weather this year is likely due to the wind.
There just hasn't been a lot of strong upperly level winds that, allow that push the systems away. That's why you're kind of seeing in the forecast traditionally, like it's just been almost the same weather every day, showers and thunderstorms.
Despite the devastation, the Bushel family are not going anywhere. They plan to continue cleaning up their home while keeping an eye on the forecast.
How much more sleep can you lose? How much more of the house can you lose? We've got lots of rain in our forecast, so it's just not... It's just everybody's at a loss here.
Mick Favel, CTV News, Kenora.
Environment Canada says a funnel cloud touched down in western Saskatchewan yesterday. This video was taken near the community of Denzel, which is about 25 kilometers from the Alberta boundary. Environment Canada confirms a tornado did touch down in the area and is looking into the possibility there may have been two. This video shows damage to some grain bins in the farm in the area of the tornado. There was a tornado warning issued by Environment Canada in the Rosedown area as well. This follows another couple of tornadoes that have been confirmed from earlier this week in eastern Saskatchewan. Seeing some more posts of funnel clouds west and north of us as well today, Jeff.
Yes, and certainly right now, as you take a look at our map, Chantel, we've got ourselves a situation with regard to severe thunderstorm watches and warnings and tornado warnings in effect. So the red areas just northeast of the Battlefords region and down south of Regina, the tornado warnings in effect. Now, these tend to be moving targets in the sense that they move around and the boxes shift around, as you just saw there, just moving around there. But the areas that are shaded in solid yellow, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. So immediate danger is present in that respect, and certainly just to the southwest of Saskatoon as well. So we're going to continue to monitor all of these situations, but certainly it is unsettled and it is in some respects dangerous, and we'll tell you more about that later on.
The body of a jet ski rider who has been missing for almost 2 weeks has been found. Saskatoon police say dental records have tentatively identified the victim as 32-year-old Aden Vargas Salvador. His body was found yesterday in the RM of Corman Park near the Clarkboro Ferry northeast of Saskatoon. Salvador, who is from Mexico, was riding a jet ski on the South Saskatchewan River on June 20th when it went over the weir. The Saskatoon Fire Department spent several days on the water looking for him. Several other agencies also took part in the search. The discovery comes as the city issues another warning about river flows along the South Saskatchewan. Higher than expected rainfall has resulted in higher levels for the South Saskatchewan River Basin, which means more water is on the way into Lake Diefenbaker, which will flow downstream to Saskatoon. The Water Security Agency says river flows are expected to increase from an already elevated rate of 270 cubic meters per second to about 770 cubic meters per second by Monday. The city says in addition to the dangerously fast current, fallen branches, broken concrete and other hazards could be in the water. The public boat launch beneath the Broadway Bridge and river access points in the Meewasin Valley will be closed, and people are warned to stay off and away from the river. A man accused of killing a woman near Weyburn is applying for a bail review. 43-year-old Chris Fallman is accused of second-degree murder in the shooting death of Tanya Myers on Highway 39 near Weyburn last September. Following his November arrest, Fallman was denied bail after 2 days of hearings for reasons that remain under a publication ban. Now he has applied to the Saskatchewan Court of Appeal for another possible chance at bail, but a hearing date has not been set. The sentencing for a Saskatoon man convicted of manslaughter has been delayed yet again. Keenan Sorakon has more on what's keeping the case from concluding.
Catlum Desjardins Kelly will have to wait another 8 weeks to learn his fate after another administrative delay at Court of King's Bench. Desjardins Kelly was found guilty of manslaughter in the death of 48-year-old Arden Panapakisik in February, but still doesn't know how long his sentence will be after 3 delays. In March, a pre-sentence report was faxed to the Correction Center, but never reached Desjardins Kelly, which forced the judge to adjourn the matter. When Desjardins Kelly was back before the judge in May, it was a Gladue report delaying a resolution to the case. Gladue reports are a pre-sentence report examining the impact of racism and colonization on Indigenous offenders. Often taking weeks or months to complete, report writers piece together the background of an offender's life by interviewing them and family members or close friends. This helps a judge come up with a sentence decision once those circumstances are considered. For years, Saskatchewan has faced a shortage of Gladue report writers, and on Friday, defense lawyer Patrick McDougall said he still couldn't find anyone to write the Gladue report. He said he believes the report should be written by someone who is Indigenous and not by himself, but without any other option, he will work to find Desjardins Kelly's family, interview them, and write the report himself. McDougall now has until the end of August to finish his Gladue report and submit his sentencing submission and bring this case to a close. Keenan Sorakon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Sunday marks 22 years since the disappearance of a 5-year-old Regina girl. Hundreds of people gathered in the city earlier today as part of an annual barbecue to raise awareness for Tamara Keepness. She was last seen the night of July 5th, 2004 at her home in Regina. Despite tips coming in through the years, her disappearance remains a mystery. Still, police and the community are not giving up.
We have all these murdered missing children too, you know, and it doesn't matter their color or race or creed, they're children, and that's what this is growing, I think, to represent. It's not just Tamara, she represents so much more.
The Regina Police Service is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to the closure of the case. A man from Lloydminster has died following a rollover in west central Saskatchewan. RCMP say it happened on Highway 797 near Frenchman Butte yesterday morning at 11:30. RCMP say the 40-year-old driver was the only person in the vehicle. He died on the way to hospital. Investigators are now looking into what contributed to the crash. Invasive mussels have been detected in a body of water that stretches between Saskatchewan and Manitoba. The Ministry of Environment says multiple invasive mussel villigers, which is the larval stage of the mussel, have been found in Lake of the Prairies near Manitoba's Highway 5 bridge. As a result, orders have been issued that require all watercraft and equipment that are in contact with Lake of the Prairies be decontaminated before being used in other bodies of water. The province says the discovery highlights why it's crucial to clean, drain, and dry all watercraft after each use, regardless of where they were used. Invasive mussels are of concern because they damage ecosystems and water pipes and harm native wildlife. A team of medical trauma specialists have returned from Stony Rapids after delivering training to local medical professionals. Jasmine Pelche on the program and what it brings to remote communities.
In late June, a team of trauma specialists made a journey from Saskatoon to one of Saskatchewan's most remote communities.
This is the furthest north we've ever been. It's a good way to learn your community and learn rural Saskatchewan and the challenges they face in healthcare.
Less than 100 kilometers from the Northwest Territories, the group delivered hands-on emergency response training to local medical teams in Stony Rapids. This training is part of RUH Foundation's Rural Trauma Training Program, which has run for about 4 years. The program was initially developed by the American College of Surgeons. This was the Saskatchewan team's 13th trip.
This course specifically is geared towards places where the resources aren't readily available. So that's why they call it resource variable trauma team development.
For 2 days, the specialists worked with medical professionals from the area, teaching them to assess and stabilize patients and prepare them for transport. Rural communities can reach out to the program to set up training visits.
And then we also look at the traumas coming into Saskatoon, and we look to see if there's a community that maybe would need support because they do see a lot of traumas in our province.
The RUH Foundation, SHA, and donors have all supported the program. The trip to Stony Rapids was funded in part with $300,000 from the Orano Company.
They have a mining site near Stony Rapids, and so if any of their team members get injured, Stony Rapids is going to be where they're going to have their first site of care.
At least for this rural community, response teams will be more prepared to handle emergencies when the time comes. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
We are getting a closer look at the Memorandum of Understanding the City of Saskatoon signed with Muskeg Lake Cree Nation to explore a potential partnership to advance the downtown arena project. The Mayor's office has provided CTV with the full text of the MOU, which was signed on Tuesday. The MOU is 5 pages long and outlines the specific terms, definitions, principles, and responsibilities of the parties during negotiations. There is also an additional page containing a letter of support from the Saskatoon Tribal Council. It says the parties agree the talks will be guided by a number of principles, including, quote, advancement of shared economic opportunities, including the exploration of equitable participation in the development, ownership, and operation of the deed, including Indigenous procurement and employment opportunities. Mayor Block says the talks are a way to look at how a partnership can move the project to the next stage.
Will it lead to more steps going forward? That's what we're trying to explore to figure out. So whether this is understanding, deed proper, like the 2 major pieces of infrastructure, like the arena and the convention center, but what about all of that land assembly that has been done over many years? And how might that also be a part of our discussions? And I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I think that it's worth exploring for sure.
You can read the entire text of the MOU on our website at ctvnews.ca/Saskatoon. As Saskatoon moves ahead with plans for a new downtown arena, we are looking back 40 years to when the city debated the same question. CTV's Laura Woodward now on how the arena ended up in the North End today.
All in favor?
This was the moment in 1985 when City Council chose the North Industrial site for Saskatoon's next arena.
We've opted for a box out in the prairies that nobody will use.
At the time, there were 2 competing visions, downtown along the river or on undeveloped land near the airport.
I really took the attitude that parking was perhaps the #1 issue.
There was letters to the editor all the time, people, supporting one side or the other.
I don't like the location. I want the location to be downtown.
Adding to the debate was sports promoter Bill Hunter.
Hooray!
He pushed for a downtown arena as part of his bid to buy and relocate the St. Louis Blues to Saskatoon.
Wake up and get with it and start dreaming yourself.
But the dreams were squashed by the NHL.
The proposal of Ralston Purina to sell and transfer the St. Louis Blues NHL franchise did not receive the approval of the National Hockey League Board of Governors.
40 years later, the NHL dream lives on.
Imagine Saskatoon
being home to a professional hockey team.
After council agreed to builds in the North End, the Downtown Option Association formed. They took out full-page ads in the newspaper opposing council's decision and collected signatures to force a public vote. 64% rejected the downtown plan, keeping the North End location.
Yes, we need an arena.
About 5 months later, another hot debate. Should the arena be built at all? People in Saskatoon wore these buttons, showing whether they supported or opposed the project.
We've needed it for 20 years, as long as I've lived here.
Yet another public vote was held, and in the end, more than two-thirds supported building the new arena. And on February 9th, 1988, Saskatchewan Place opened, the building now known as SaskTel Centre.
With a game between the Blades and Brandon, and the Blades win 4-3.
Decades after Saskatoon debated whether an arena belonged downtown, the city has come full circle, reviving many of the same debates around cost, parking, and location. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The Sound of Music will flow through Saskatoon in the coming days. Crews were busy setting up in Victoria Park today as the Sask Jazz Festival takes to the stage starting on Sunday. In addition to the park, live acts will perform at various venues throughout the city until July 11th. In addition to the ticketed shows, there will also be free concert opportunities for people to take in. 250 athletes from across Canada are in Regina this week for the 2026 Canadian Baton Twirling Championship. Throughout the weekend, participants from 7 provinces are competing in a variety of events to win national titles. Categories include individual performances, duets, and team groups, with ages ranging from 8 to 28.
A lot of the battle is calming down before you perform because it's all based on timing. It goes up, it comes down, but you got to have soft hands. You got to be ready for the catches and ready to anticipate anything. But again, strength, flexibility, speed.
The competition is running until Sunday and is free for spectators to watch. Still to come, gearing up for Canada's big matchup tomorrow. Also, why not everyone is thrilled about Alberta's pipeline deal now that details have been released. You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. A day after we learn details about Alberta's pipeline plan, there are questions about the project's viability. While Prime Minister Mark Carney is confident private investment will come once it's built, not everyone is convinced. Michael Couture has more from Ottawa.
The Alberta Pipeline Project is officially being handed over to the Major Projects Office. The provincial and federal governments are investing in the project with the federally owned Trans Mountain Corporation in order to build the pipeline.
What the federal government is doing is creating the conditions to unlock that private investment. So there's enormous private investment that's going to come.
But some former oil executives question where exactly that investment is going to come from.
There were no shippers, there were no oil sands producers in the room saying that they were committed to actually move forward with this project.
Pembina Pipeline Corporation will have a minority stake, and Carney pointed to the government-owned Trans Mountain Pipeline as an example of a project that is profitable.
Certainly, climate change is no longer a priority.
Former Liberal Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault resigned as an MP because of the Prime Minister's climate policies, and he's concerned about the impacts of that shift.
We're seeing record heat waves in Northeast Canada. The Prime Minister's plane couldn't take off because of extreme weather event on Canada Day. We had to cancel part of Canada Day.
Despite that, the Prime Minister managed to thread the political needle between Alberta and BC, whose premiers had been at odds over the pipeline. But yesterday, it seems David Eby backed off after protecting the northern tanker ban.
He's coming around and saying, well, you know, BC, he's not in favor of a pipeline, but BC is going to get a cut of it. They're not going to push. They're not going to go to court over this.
While the province is on board, the Union of BC Indian Chiefs is raising concerns not only about the environmental impacts, but also questioning whether or not the First Nations along the route have given their consent to this new project. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
The U.S. ambassador to Canada is hopeful the two countries can put together a trade deal despite the U.S. decision not to renew the current North American trade agreement.
Hopefully we can resolve some of the irritants and some of the other issues that are out there, and we can put together a great trade agreement. It would be good for the Canadian people, it would be good for the American people, and we can move forward. But we'll have to wait and see.
Speaking with CTV Ottawa this morning, Ambassador Pete Hoekstra said he never thought it would take this long to reach an agreement, but he says he is very optimistic the two countries can work out their differences on trade. Earlier this week, the U.S. said he was opting against renewing CUSMA in its current form, meaning the trilateral trade deal will now face an annual review. The federal government's grocery benefit was delivered to some Canadians today. It's paid out to lower-income households every 3 months. Annual amounts can range between a few $100s to more than $1,000 per family, depending on marital status and the number of children in the household. The assistance is 25% higher than the old program. Ottawa says it is meant to provide relief to Canadians struggling with expenses. NASA has launched a daring rescue mission to keep a 1,500-kilogram observatory from falling to Earth. NASA says this commercial robotic mission is the first of its kind. The uncrewed observatory was not designed to be serviced in space. Without the intervention, NASA says the observatory would dip too low and fall. Well, speaking of things falling from the sky, New York Times Square is putting on a show today, dropping the iconic New Year's Eve ball several times. The sparkling centerpiece is shining red, white, and blue as it drops at midnight in every time zone within American territory to mark the country's 250th birthday tomorrow. The first drop was at 10 o'clock this morning, midnight in Guam. It's the first time the ball has been used outside of New Year's Eve. Later tonight, President Trump will mark the occasion with an event at Mount Rushmore. As Team Canada prepares for its first ever round of 16 match at the FIFA World Cup tomorrow, a Saskatchewan soccer fan who's been with the team all the way is ecstatic. After winning the first knockout stage game in Canadian history last weekend, Canada is an underdog against heavily favored Morocco. But win or lose, this fan will be in the stands as he has been to every game that Canada has played. Wayne Mantika with that story.
Peter Ricci is catching a flight to Canada's next game in the FIFA World Cup. The Regina resident has been to every game that Canada has played so far.
It's kind of funny because this is a World Cup at home on our home continent, but it's the most travel I've ever done.
Peter flew to a pre-tournament game in Edmonton, 2 matches in Vancouver, games in Toronto, Los Angeles, and now Houston.
You can go from Toronto all the way down to Mexico City. Like, that's how far apart the cities are. And along with Los Angeles, Vancouver, like it's all over the place.
As a member of Canada's Voyageur Soccer Fan Club, Ricci was eligible for game ticket draws. He won the right to purchase $88 tickets to every match that Canada plays.
I just want to see as many games as possible, and I'm lucky that I get to see all of the Canadian games.
He recognizes others in the crowd who are doing the same thing.
Lots of Voyageurs from Canada are going to every game. Special shout out to Lee Cormish out of Saskatoon, who is going to 16 different games, not just every Canada game, but 16 different games in 16 different cities.
So far, Peter Ricci has flown 25,000 kilometers. He hopes there are many more flights ahead. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
All right, Jeff, we'll find out in a few minutes how Saskatoon can get in on watching the game. But first, we might have a bit of a reprieve from the rain.
A bit of a reprieve. It's sort of moving around us. I checked the weather door and I've checked the radar. Right now, the skies are still dark around Saskatoon. But yes, as we go forward, making our way into the next few days, it looks as though, for the most part, not entirely across Saskatchewan, but for the most part, things are calming down and warming up. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's take a look and see what we've got going on right now. At least out at the airport. Thunderstorms happening right now, 23 degrees and a bit on the breezy side. In the Prince Albert area, 20 degrees, mainly cloudy skies. skies, moderate winds right now, and quite windy in the Battlefords with rain, and that looks like heavy rain, at least according to the icon, 14 degrees right now. The almanac for Saskatoon, well, Saskatoon's high temperature today, 25 degrees, so 1 degree above seasonal. Typically, we should be around 24. 33, the record warm temperature from 1924, the record cold temperature on the 3rd of July, 4 degrees in 2002. The sun came up at 4:52, and it's going to go down at 9:30.
Coming up, Stampede ready. How what's billed as the greatest outdoor show on Earth got started.
The province is proposing stronger penalties for impaired drivers. Monday on Your Morning, we're talking to the Justice Minister about why and if it's going to work.
Okay, let's take a look at this stormy sky. Obviously, we know, west of the city, we have a lot of active weather, and we're just going to wait and see if it tracks very far. Right now, downtown Saskatoon is not experiencing anything in the way of rain, but certainly out at the airport and area, it looks as though that's a different story. So, yes, the storms are around us right now, as we can certainly see. Let's take a look at the satellite and radar shot here, and you can certainly see all these pop-up areas with the red signature, certainly sliding around the Saskatoon area. Now, we will show you the watches and warnings in just a moment or two here. Just to recap, 23 degrees in Saskatoon, 20 in Prince Albert, and 14 in the Battlefords. On to our hot spot. That was Val Marie at 28 degrees south, and the cold spot at 7. Around the province we go. 18 degrees in Lloydminster, 24 in Swift Current, 19 in Yorkton and Regina, 23 in Estevan. In central parts of the province, temperatures ranging from 14 degrees in the Battlefords and Meadow Lake, places that have dealt with a bit of rain, but it does warm up to 25. That's in Rosetown, 24 in Kindersley and Rosetown, 17 in Nipawin and Waskesiu. Up north, 26 degrees in Stony Rapids. It cools off to 17 in Buffalo Narrows, where they had some rain in the area. Otherwise,
the following is a message from the Canadian National Public Alerting System.
At 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time Friday, Environment Canada has issued a tornado warning for South Central Saskatchewan. Extra care and attention should be exercised in and around the following localities: Spiritwood, Debden, Big River Reserve, Meeting Lake and Leask. Environment Canada meteorologists are tracking an area of severe thunderstorms that is possibly producing a tornado. Damaging winds, large hail and locally intense rainfall are also possible. Take cover immediately if threatening weather approaches. Please consult local media for more information.
all of that. On to our roundup for tomorrow. So there's a chance of some showers and thunderstorms in northern Saskatchewan tomorrow. Temperatures in the low to mid 20s. Similar temperature pattern, a little warmer down around Kindersley and Rosetown, but a chance of showers and thunderstorms in Meadow Lake and Spiritwood. A mix of sky conditions with temperatures in the high 20s for the southwest. For the southeast, a similar pattern with mainly cloudy skies. Into east central Saskatchewan, temperatures in and around that 26-degree mark with mainly cloudy skies. Now, dropping down to 12 degrees for the Battlefords, 25 degrees tomorrow, and then the 7-day outlook, as you can see, warming up quite nicely, getting up to 27 on Wednesday, chance of showers on Thursday. Prince Albert area dropping down to 13 tonight, still a risk of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm and chance of showers, mainly cloudy skies on Saturday, 25 degrees, and then cooling off a little bit, but basically staying at or above seasonal values right up until Wednesday. Thursday, a chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm. And Saskatoon's overnight temperature, 13 degrees. Good chance of some showers or lingering showers, shall we say, but clearing skies overnight. Then a bit more cloud tomorrow, but 27 degrees, winds out of the south at 20. And then as we take a look at the long-range forecast, looks pretty calm, and that's kind of nice after what we've had recently. Look at that, 27 on Wednesday. Tommy Hunter, a fixture in Canadian living rooms for decades with his long-running TV show, has died. According to his business manager, he died of natural causes yesterday. He was best known for hosting the music series The Tommy Hunter Show from 1965 to 1992. Hunter was a 3-time Juno Award winner and a Gemini Award recipient. He was also inducted into the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame and a member of the Order of Canada. Tommy Hunter was 89. Fans of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are keeping a close eye on Madison Square Garden tonight as the celebrity couple ties the knot there. Or are they already married? After days of preparation, rumors, reports, and speculation, a long line of black cars and SUVs arrived earlier this evening to bring in roughly 1,000 guests. Swift and Kelce haven't publicly confirmed they're getting married tonight, and tight security is in place. Some have noted Madison Square Garden is a high-profile venue, but it means the couple can more easily keep unwanted guests and cameras out. And you can eat all the hot dogs you can handle. Celine Dion released a new song this morning. The new single is called Bonjour, Pardon, Merci. It's being called an exploration on the themes of strength and gratitude. Dion released the single Dansons in the spring. Both songs will be released on vinyl in Septembre. See what I did there?
I do see
That's
what
French.
you did. Very, very clever, yes. I don't know if you can tell us this in French, but tomorrow's a big day, of course, for Team Canada, as we heard earlier. And fans here can take in the World Cup action.
C'est vrai, absolument. If you've got World Cup fever, and I know a lot of people do, the place to be is the Gather Local Market, because it is the Canada Celebrates the FIFA World Cup 2026. Steph Pocha is with us today, and did I get that name right?
You got it right. My new last name. It's exciting.
Well, I was thinking more about the title, but both things. Let's talk a little bit about this event, because it is a day-long event, and how lucky or how fortunate, whatever you want to say, that Canada is playing tomorrow.
The stars couldn't have aligned better for us, Jeff. When we secured this event back in December of last year, it was unknown to us who would be playing in this game, of course. And so this is so exciting that we're going to be down here, ground zero at Gather Local Marketplace, to watch Canada compete tomorrow morning.
So what goes on? Because it's not just one game and one watch. There's lots going on.
This is a caravan that's been traveling across the country, arriving in Saskatoon, only stop in Saskatchewan here in our city. And so tonight, everyone is setting up this afternoon and into the evening tonight. And then we're going to see the matches live, both Canada game and then France and Paraguay. We've got a mini pitch where there's going to be kids playing soccer. I'm sure you could get out there as well, Jeff. Food trucks, beer gardens. Of course, the local market is going to be animated as well. And really encouraging everyone to bring their lawn chairs, come get comfy. There's lots of seating, but really want people to settle in for the day.
Absolutely. We're going to need your sunscreen, because it looks like we've got ourselves a warm day. Does it cost anything to stroll down here?
This is a completely free event to our community, brought to you on behalf of the Government of Canada, Discover Saskatoon, and Saskatoon's Best Hotels.
All righty. It's going to be a terrific event, a great way to celebrate the World Cup, and, of course, go Canada. So thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
A lot of Canadian pride this week. Of course, Canada Day celebrations. And I understand you've got a few pics of the day for them.
A whole lot of Canada right on. Let's take a look at our pictures today. We're going to start off with this one. Of course, we had so much Canada Day stuff, but we weren't on television yesterday. So this is from Jim Taman, and this is a Taman family home in Warman, completely decked out there, and a whole lot of maple leaf and red and white stuff there. So thank you for sharing that one, Jim. The next one from Lorraine, Canada, and Saskatchewan at the heart of it. Right-o. The Western Red Lily, if that's what that is, but a lovely shot there with the Canadian flags. Our next picture comes from Mary. We assume it's Mary. She sent us pictures before, but this time she didn't include her name. Greetings, sending photos of our Canada Day celebration in Churchill Gardens. 150 people and guests had a great time, and on the right, two of the original planners. Mary didn't tell us the names, but thank you for putting together that great event. So that's from Mary. And finally, from Carl in Los Angeles. Carl McKay, originally from Saskatoon, is an award-winning editor in Los Angeles, and he and his wife Amy were at Canada versus South Africa, showing off the maple leaf, and I'm sure those two are getting ready for the big game tomorrow as well. So thanks, Carl, for sending that in and for showing the colors. And if you'd like to send us an image, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, and please, please put pick of the day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, Calgary gets the party started to look at the annual Stampede Parade and the fun that went with it. Calgary Stampede has returned for another year and is with tradition. It began with a huge parade through downtown to kick things off with a bang. Tommy Osborne brings us the best of this year's parade.
Plenty of yahoos at the annual Stampede Parade as around 300,000 people cheered on the biggest single-day event in Calgary. This entry, the Soul of Mexico, won the Best Overall Award, one of many cultural entrants celebrating Calgary's diverse population, with Korea, Japan, Chile, and more all taking part. Olympic medalists Mikhail Kingsbury and Courtney Sarot headed the parade as its marshals, and other notable figures like Santa Claus and federal conservative leader Pierre Poilievre also took part.
Greatest outdoor show on earth!
In total, more than 120 entrants took part in the 5-kilometer route, and whether you're walking or dancing it, that's around 6,300 steps. The iconic Stampede Show Band was one of 9 to keep the party going, joining 35 floats and 700 horses. If you were one of thousands walking the route, I hope you didn't wear white shoes, because those horses created around 2 tons of manure. Each entry was accompanied by a Royal Canadian Sea Cadet, Army Cadet, or Air Cadet. Tommy Osborne, CTV News, Calgary.
Still to come, we check in with farmers in the field this week, and later, Canadian pride on display in Saskatoon.
Canada celebrates the FIFA World Cup with a day full of footy fun on Saturday at Gather Local Market and Market Square. There will be food vendors, activities, and big screens to watch the beautiful game. On Saturday, a Doukhobor wedding reenactment will take place at the Doukhobor Dugout House National Historic Site near Blaine Lake. Following the reenactment, couples in attendance will be invited to renew their vows. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar, or scan the QR code on your screen. Okay, well, we've got some inclement weather certainly around us now and going across the province, but let's talk about tomorrow. Right now, we do anticipate the chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm up around the Meadow Lake, Spiritwood, and Lloydminster areas. Otherwise, we're looking at relatively calm conditions and temperatures that are warmer than we've seen for the last little while. As you can see, 27 for Watchers, 28 in Kindersley and Outlook, and 26 in Hudson Bay and Wynyard areas. Now, down south, well, hot temperatures. Look at that. Coronach expected to hit 30 tomorrow. No one down south is, at least at this point, anticipating nastier conditions, meaning to say rain or thunderstorm activity or hail or anything like that. Right now, it just looks straight up hot with temperatures in the high 20s. And let's see if that includes Wapella. And the answer is yes, it does. 27 degrees tomorrow with partly cloudy skies in the Wapella area, or mainly cloudy conditions, I should say. Winds out of the southwest at 15, so a warmer flow of air, so it's not a surprise with the temperature of 27 degrees. And Wapella is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
The flooding in east central Saskatchewan has caused crops to be underwater this week, with farmers also seeing hail. Across the province, 36% of cropland topsoil moisture is considered surplus, with 1% considered short. Despite the wet and cool weather, most crops are developing at a normal rate. About 2/3 of fall and spring crops are in good condition, while 25% are in excellent shape. Pulse crops and most oilseed crops are in good to excellent condition. New livestock facilities will be constructed right away for the Canadian Western Agribition in Regina. The announcement from Brant Developments comes after it bought up a significant piece of the Real District. As Wayne Mantika reports, the new barns are expected to be ready for the show in November.
The future of Agribition facilities was in question after Brant Developments agreed to purchase much of Regina's Real District, including buildings for redevelopment that were long used by the livestock show. Now Brant will invest $8 million in new livestock barns to keep Agribition in Regina.
We've been through lots of acquisitions and lots of expansions and turnarounds. This is probably the most complex and challenging one that I've ever undertaken.
Agribition is pleased with the agreement.
We're committed to try to stay in Regina. This facility definitely gives us security, as Sean said, for minimum of the next 2 years. But we would like to keep Regina home for the next 100.
A new livestock barn similar to one already in place will go up in time for Agribition in November at a cost to Brant of $8 million. The former Agribition facility will become a Brant-owned distillery to go alongside its new entertainment center, which is now under construction.
Displayed here are the renderings of the new distillery that will be the landmark on Louvain. This newly renovated, constructed facility, along with the Queen City Distillers venues, will set a new standard for the park.
Agribition has a 2-year commitment allowing it to remain in the Real District, but it would like to stay longer. Brant would like that as well, saying a good part of its business is agricultural, so it has a commitment to the industry. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is currently $1.58 a litre. The lowest price in town is $1.52.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco finished the day up at $1.39.59 and Nutrien dropped 25 cents. Coming up, when the World Cup doesn't need to worry about competition. Then Canadian pride flying high in the city.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Yes, indeed, the sky is looking ominous. We've just Environment Canada has just released issued a tornado warning for the Saskatoon area, not just for Saskatoon, but for Saskatoon, Martinsville, Warman, Langham, Arley, Purdue, and Delisle. And they are tracking a severe thunderstorm that's possibly producing a tornado, damaging winds, large hail, and local intense rainfall. So please be careful.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you know, some pros in the World Cup don't likely need to worry about this kind of competition. These robotic soccer players in South Korea are showing off some skills in what is called the Robo Cup. They've been programmed by 300 teams of engineers, students, and researchers from 45 countries. All are taking part in the world's largest robotics competition. But the soccer machines aren't a match for humans just yet, with lots of falls on the pitch. But we are told they don't fake any injuries, and they get up and they start playing again. So.
That's nice for a change, but they're not ready for humans yet. Emphasis on yet.
They might get there. All right, so tornado warning issued for our area?
For our area here in the Saskatoon area, but if we can take a quick look at our map, it's not the only area in Saskatoon. You can certainly see areas up around Radville and, I should say, down south in Radville in the Ceylon area, and then south of the Spiritwood area in Mayfair and area. Those locations do have a tornado warning. And then surrounding that, those solid or yellow areas, those are severe thunderstorm warnings, and then everywhere else that's etched in yellow is severe thunderstorm watch. So a lot of unstable and inclement weather right now, and as I said earlier on, potentially dangerous weather. So please pay attention to those alerts. They're issued for a good reason.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Canadians celebrating July 1st this week. Of course, we didn't have to go very far to see Canadian pride on display. Residents at this complex near the Broadway Bridge displaying their flags on their balconies. We saw a few people getting into the celebrations this week. We will leave you with that tonight. Have a safe weekend. Thanks for watching.
Go Canada!